Core 3 Review Sheet N Numerical Methods 2. The questions on this video are not the same as those on the review sheet, but if you work your way through the video, it will help you to do the review sheet. Right, the questions are working out estimates for integrals using the Midordinate and Simpsons rules. So you're estimating the areas under curves. So in the first case here, you've got y is 6x e to the 0.5x, and that is the blue curve, and you're being asked to estimate the area under that curve between 0 and 2. So the first thing we need to do is to work out the width of each strip. Now you'll notice in both cases I've said 4 strips, and so I'm keeping that bit the same. So we use the same rule as you do when you're dealing with trapezium rule here. And so you've got h is b minus a over n, b is the upper limit, 2, a is the lower limit, 0, and n is the number of strips, 4. So it's 2 minus 0 over 4, 2 quarters, a half, 0.5. So each strip is 0.5 long. Now, if you've got a sketch here, it's a good idea actually to put the strips on your sketch. It makes it easy to see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is I want 4 strips, each of 0.5, so I want to split it like this. And you'll see each strip 0.5 wide, 4 strips. Now if we come on to the Midordinate rule, if we do that first, the Midordinate rule is using the y-coordinates, but you want the y-coordinates at the points which are not at the end of the strip, edges of the strips, but in the middle of the strips. So I take the middle of that strip, I want that y-coordinate there, I want that one there, middle of this strip, and the middle of this strip, I want these y-coordinates. So let's first of all work out the x-coordinates, then work out y. The x-coordinates, halfway between 0 and 0.5 is 0.25. Middle of 0.5 and 1, 0.75. Middle of 1 and 1.5, 1.25. 1.5 up to 2 is 1.75. So I'm finding the x-coordinates in the middle of each strip. To get the y-coordinates, the easiest thing to do is to type the equation into your calculator. Now firstly I check that I'm in mode 1, and then I put in the equation, which is 6 x e to the 0.5 x, and I check that that is the same as the equation I'm given here and in the integral. Then I just use the calc button to work everything out. So calc first for 0.25 equals, and it gives me 1.6997 and so on. Now the answers to 3 significant figures, so I must work to at least 4 significant figures. So I'm going to do 1.700 for this one here, 1.700. Do the same thing again, calc 0.75 equals 6.547, 6.547. Calc of 1.25 is 14.012, and then finally calc of 1.75 is 25.188. Once I've got the numbers there, it's very easy to do the Midordinate rule, because all you do is you take the h value, 0.5, and you multiply it by the sum of all the midordinates, the sum of all the y-coordinates there. So inside those brackets I put 1.700, 6.547, etc., all in there, and when I've added them all up, I multiply by 0.5, and I should get about 23.7. Notice my final answer has been rounded to the 3 significant figures that are required. Simpsons rule. Simpsons rule does, just like the trapezium rule, use the ends of the strips. So they're using the numbers 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5 and 2. That's where we have as our x coordinates. Now for the y coordinates, I could have put my equation into a table for this one because it's going up by the same amount. But because I've already got my formula there, I might as well use the calc button again. It's going to be just as quick, and do calc for 0 equals 0 and calc for 0.5 is 3.852. Calc for 1 is 9.892, and calc 1.5 is 19.053, and finally calc for 2 is 36.619. Sorry, 32.619. Let's just check that. Yes, 32.619. So you'll notice that I've labelled these values y0, y1, y2, and so on. That helps us to use the Simpsons rule, because the rule of the Simpsons rule is 1/3 of the h value multiplied by, and then what you do is you put the end ordinates, the end numbers, plus 4 times the odd ordinates, and 2 times any other even ordinates. So 1/3 of h is 1/3 of 0.5. And then in the big set of brackets here, my end ordinates, 0, add 32.619, plus 4 lots of the odd ordinates, y1, y3, the odd ones. 3.852, add 19.053, 2 lots of any other even ordinates. Now I've got 3 even ordinates there, y0, y2 and y4, but I've already used those 2 up, so I'm only left with a 9.892 of y2. And then it is add all these up, so do 0, add this, add 4 lots of that total, add 2 lots of that, and then at the very end multiply your answer by 0.5 and divide it by 3, and it will come to 3 significant figures to 24.0. Now you'll notice that your answers should be very similar to each other. If they're not very similar to each other, something has gone wrong. Now the only other thing that you're asked to do in the review sheet is you are asked to work out the exact values by integration, and that's doing integration by parts, which is what you'll do on this one here, or integration by substitution. Now if you don't remember how to do those, then I'd suggest for integration by parts you look at the video for review sheet K, and for integration by substitution the video for review sheet L, and those will remind you how to do those parts of a question. So good luck with review sheet N.